Coming up next on Arizona Horizon, get the latest from the state capitol in our weekly legislative update. The federal government gives approval to the South Mountain Freeway in Phoenix, and the valley's retail vacancy rate falls to single digits for the first time in years. Those stories next on Arizona Horizon.
Arizona Horizon is made possible by contributions from the Friends of Eight, members of your Arizona PBS station. Thank you.
Good evening and welcome to Arizona Horizon. I'm Ted Simons. With a controversial budget now in the rearview mirror, state lawmakers are pushing ahead for a planned April 2nd sine die. Here with the latest in our weekly legislative update is Luigi Del Puerto of the Arizona Capital Times. Luigi, good to see you again. Before we get to the goals of getting out of there, how did this whole, give us just a general view of what happened? Last time we were on Friday night with the Journalists Roundtable, the thought was it could be a day, it could be a week, it could be months. This thing happened overnight.
It's done. It's gone. It's on Governor Ducey's desk right now, and we are presuming that he either will sign the budget bills today or tomorrow. This happened very quickly. As you know, last week they unveiled that they have a budget deal, and then the budget bills were introduced, and by Saturday morning, they all have been approved, and all the opposition to it melted away, if you will.
I want to talk about how it melted away in a second, but why hasn't he signed this? I mean, it's taken him longer to sign it than it did for the legislature to pass it.
Right. We're not exactly sure why it's taking him a bit longer to sign it, but we're presuming that he will sign it, you know, right now I understand he may be out of Phoenix. I think he's in Tucson, if I'm not mistaken. But rest assured, this budget will get signed.
So how did this get done? Again, last time we talked about this was Friday, and the House especially seemed like it was at odds with a lot of this budget.
Right.
But boom, it's over.
Right. What we heard before it was passed on Friday morning was that there were as many as maybe 10, 11, even more votes in the House against this budget proposal. And we're hearing that maybe 4 senators are against it as well. But the biggest heartburn, if you will, that those lawmakers have had to do with the budget for the universities and K-12. But then in the Senate, there was one very crucial, very important vote that made all of this happen, and that's a vote by Carlyle Begay, a Democratic state senator.
And who is Carlyle Begay?
Carlyle Begay is he is a lawmaker from the north. He represents the tribes. There was a bit of a controversy, you know, before he joined the state legislature as to where his residency is. But Carlyle Begay voted for this budget and defended his actions by saying, look, we're not going to improve this budget in favor of Democrats. I've got to do what I needed to do and get what I can get out of it. And, you know, he got what he wanted, which is about $1.2 million in transportation infrastructure funding.
And $1.2 million in transportation, I mean, that's not a very long road. What is this all about?
We're not exactly sure what that money would be used for. You mentioned it wouldn't be a very long road if it's for, you know, it's for a road construction up in his district. But, you know, this money, he said, is important to his district, and he has to get what he thinks he could get from this budget. And the legislature was willing to give it to him. You know, Andy Biggs has a great relationship with Carlyle Begay, and he got what he wanted.
All right. So, and I know a couple of votes were also, because the university funding cuts would drop from what, 104 to 99.
Right.
That got a couple of votes on board.
Right, because you know, there were rumors earlier that it could be as high as $140 million. And so when they started moving that the budget reduction figure to 104 to, you know, 99 million, it became a little bit more palatable for most folks. I think the biggest change in this budget is giving the K-12 community a lot more flexibility in how they would manage the cuts. Now, the cuts would remain the same. K-12 education is getting $113 million out of their what's called district additional assistance budget. That's money that they use for buying textbooks, computers, etc. You know, they're still getting cut by that amount. That hasn't changed. However, instead of this budget saying you are going to take that budget out of what's called non-classroom spending, it's up to you now how you want to manage those cuts. And for some schools, especially the really good schools that have been getting a whole lot of federal grants for all kinds of programs, you know, that's that's a very good thing in this budget.
All right, so we're looking at April 2nd is kind of the goal here to wrap this thing.
Correct. Not April 1st because maybe people
yeah, too many April Fool's jokes.
Yeah, but you know, there's about 600 or so bills that they have to slug through within the next couple of weeks, and you're right, the goal is to get this session wrapped up by first week of April.
How is the mood down there post-budget? Are there frayed nerves, or is everyone just sitting around the campfire?
I think right now the focus is really shifted on just getting all these bills through, and so that's why it's going to be a very busy next couple of weeks. For example, today there were a couple of big measures that they passed. For example, in the Senate there was a referral, a ballot measure that would gut clean elections, redirect its money to education, but keep the name Clean Elections Fund. That passed after failing yesterday. It was resurrected today, and that measure passed. And so they're just going through all of these proposals, and I think the mood is shifting into just getting all of these bills through.
But everyone is still getting along. There aren't fractions, there aren't divides like we've seen the past few years.
No, and the thing is that and you're right, we haven't really seen the kinds of factioning that we have seen in the past. And I think because people understood that the state faces a very dire fiscal problem. And for example, in fiscal year 16, we are facing their estimated budget deficits around $700 million. And so they have to fix that. And the way they fix that, of course, is through cuts. If there's a unifying theme in this budget, it's that it's going to be painful for a lot of agencies and a lot of programs, but people do understand that they have to make those cuts.
All right, Luigi, we'll have more, of course, in the Journalists Roundtable on Friday. Good information, good stuff. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Last week, the Federal Highway Administration issued a record of decision for the South Mountain Loop 202 freeway in Phoenix. What does it mean for the long debated and much discussed 22-mile loop south of South Mountain? For the answers, we welcome Timothy Tate of the Arizona Department of Transportation. Good to see you. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Real quickly, what is the South Mountain Freeway?
Well, the South Mountain Freeway really is the last of the Loop 202 system. It's a new freeway that would connect Interstate 10 at Pecos Road around the corner of South Mountain and reconnect with I-10 at 59th Avenue.
So let's go ahead and take a look at a map of this, because I think people still, without actually seeing this is like, again, Pecos, it's around the south of South Mountain, correct?
It will go around the south corner of South Mountain Park, taking about 31 acres of park space. About a mile of freeway will go through the park.
Okay, and that would be toward the, southwest side? Where is that where it's going to go?
That's right, about the southwest side, that bend where it makes the turn around the corner.
Okay, how many lanes are we talking about here?
We're talking about 8 lanes, 4 lanes in each direction, 3 general lanes, and an HOV lane in each direction.
Okay, this is the Federal Highway Administration gives the final okay. What does that mean? We have had so many stories on the South Mountain Freeway. I've seen so many maps. If you put the map, I mean, it crisscrosses the entire region. Is this, we're looking at a done deal?
This is a done deal at this point. The Federal Highway Administration has given us their approval. The route has been selected, and we're ready to move forward as an agency.
How do you move forward?
Well, the first step is beginning the process of acquiring the property that's needed for the freeway. There's about 400 parcels that we need to acquire. About 200 of those are homes. So we've been going through the process of getting valuations based on the houses, appraising the houses, and we're beginning that process of working with homeowners to come to agreement on a price for their property.
How does that work? Let's say I'm a homeowner and I'm sitting there right in the middle of lane 3 of the freeway. How does it work?
Well, ADOT will first do an appraisal of the house, and then we'll present that to the homeowner. they have the right and the opportunity to have their own appraisal done, and then it's a negotiation just like any other home purchase. We try to come to agreement with the homeowner. We don't like to get into an aggressive stance on acquiring right-of-way. We try to really work with community members and owners of property to come to agreement on what their property is worth so that we can pay what is market value for their property.
So you can get this acquisition process started. What about the freeway design? Does that now get an extra impetus?
So this freeway is going to be constructed as a public-private partnership, which is a first for ADOT. So that means that we're going to bring a developer on board. That developer will be selected towards the end of this year. That developer will do design, construction, and then 30 years of maintenance on the freeway.
My goodness, now is a bid process out there already? Have you got someone in mind?
The process is out there, and we are narrowing the selection of contractors to do this project, and we expect to shortlist those contractors this month sometime.
I was going to say, because I would imagine with this federal approval and with the acquisition process, you're saying it doesn't seem like it's going to be too much of a problem. When could we start seeing bulldozers and things moving around out there?
Early 2016 for the start of construction. That's what we fully expect. Take about 4 years or so to build. We expect to have traffic moving by 2020.
And the public-private partnership, getting those private firms in there, how do you work around that? How do you get that done? Because that seems like that might be a complicated process.
It is a complicated process, and it's really new territory for ADOT, but it's really tapping into innovation and looking to best practices and best form from the private industry to find out how we can do things better, smarter, and at a better value for taxpayers.
I think we have a video now that includes the map, and then it shows the exact route. So people that, again, might be a little confused about what we're talking about. We're starting down there, Pecos Road, and we're moving out there, and we're good. There we go. We're going to hit I-10. As far as the driving is concerned, this would be odd because you will now be driving with South Mountain to the north of you. This is the Pecos interchange down here, and you are heading west on this video, south of South Mountain.
That's right. You would be south of South Mountain, which would be a new experience for drivers, but really provides that vital connection between the Southeast Valley and the West Valley. It's a connection that right now is lacking, and we really rely on the Broadway curve on Interstate 10, which is overloaded.
The public-private partnership on this, does this mean we're going to see toll roads?
Absolutely will not be a toll road.
How come?
Because the money is already essentially in the bank. This was approved by voters going back to 1985 as part of Proposition 300. It was again approved in 2004 as part of Proposition 400. So it has local funding from a 1/2 cent transportation sales tax in Maricopa County.
And again, we're still going west now on this new proposed freeway. It's a reservation now to the left. Concerns by the reservation still exist?
Certainly, the members of the tribal community and really tribal communities throughout the state do have some concerns over construction of the South Mountain Freeway. We've been sensitive to those concerns, and we're going to work to mitigate those concerns as best we can.
Environmental concerns, what are they?
Certainly there are environmental concerns. Anytime you build a new freeway, there are concerns, but there's also concerns if you don't do anything. Traffic is going to continue to build in Metro Phoenix, and a freeway like this is needed to really take that pressure off of the metro system.
Is this the kind of freeway that truckers would use on the way to Los Angeles, or are they going to continue using the existing route?
We believe they'll continue using the existing route that bypasses Phoenix entirely. That's State Route 85 and Interstate 8. That's a much more efficient route for trucks that are going through the valley and not making a stop.
Okay, but I as someone who drives I-10, I can tell there are a lot of trucks on that road.
There are a lot of trucks. We really don't expect the truck volumes to be any different than the other freeways in Metro Phoenix, like Interstate 17.
So who's using this road as we seem to be gaining in altitude here? Who's using this road?
This road will be primarily used by local commuters, people from the Southeast Valley headed to the West Valley.
All right, so again, construction starts 2016 or so?
2016 for construction to start.
Completion date?
Early 2020 or late 2019.
And where do you see, is it one of these deals where everything will be worked on at the same time, or do you start at Pecos, they're starting Chandler, or you start in Levine? Where are you starting?
Well, we don't know yet. That's a mystery. That'll be really determined by the developer once they're brought on board, and they'll sort of set the phasing of construction and how that will all work.
Last question. For those who still don't like this idea and are still opposed to this idea, are there ways for them to protest? Are there ways to get their voices heard? Or again, is this pretty much over?
Well, starting on Friday, the federal government does allow a 150-day period to contest the project. So there's a window that is available for folks to essentially file suit against the project. We think we've done a rigorous and defensible project, and we think that we'll sustain any of those lawsuits.
And that's pretty much the route you guys have wanted all along, isn't it?
That is essentially the route that was proposed going back into the 80s with some modification.
My goodness. All right, good information. Good to have you here. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Ted.
Retail vacancy rates in the Metro Phoenix area are in single digits for the first time since 2008. That's according to recent studies by the Phoenix Office of Commercial Real Estate firm CBRE. Here to discuss the local retail vacancy rate and what it says for the Valley's economy is CBRE Vice President Greg Abbott. Good to see you. Thanks for joining us.
Good to see you. Thank you.
The latest retail vacancy rates in Phoenix, obviously single digits, obviously first time since 2008. What are they?
9.6% right now, market-wide.
And what does that say?
It's really a reflection of, I think, the general economy, and it shows that we went through the downturn, and I think we're on the back end of that now and gradually improving.
And this is, it doesn't seem like there's been much in the way of major retail development in the past few years or so. How does that impact these numbers?
It impacts it directly, and you're exactly right, because there's really two factors that are building into our improvement in vacancy rates. One is obviously the expansion of existing tenants and also new tenants into the market. But number two is the lack of new construction. So those two things together is really creating kind of a double whammy and pushing vacancy rates down.
It puts a double whammy, and also in the sense that a lot of the existing retail space, it's got to be getting old and obsolete, isn't it?
It is, and you know, Phoenix is still, by and large, a young city, but now in greater numbers we're starting to see more and more spaces that are functionally obsolete. And so trickling into our vernacular are words like reuse, repurpose, things like that. And it provides good opportunity for reuse of those obsolete properties.
It also probably provides a pretty good rate for the fewer remaining high-quality vacancy retail spots.
It sure does. And you know, those Type A type properties now, those are the ones that are really in the highest demand. It's sort of the first to lease, highest demand type space. And as a result of this improvement in the market, we're starting to see rents trickling up now.
I'll bet. Just give us an example, difference between Type A, Type B.
You know, Type A type properties generally are you know, newer type centers, possibly grocery anchored, maybe power centers anchored, you know, Target and Walmarts, things like that. Nicer, newer, and then B will be, you know, maybe they're smaller, don't have quite the strength in the co-tenants, and older.
I think a lot of folks recognize intersections that were once vibrant. Now you've got a major grocery store or a Walgreens or something that has left, and there's nothing there still. What's going on with that market?
Well, case-by-case example, but a lot of those are getting repurposed and reused, like we talked about a second ago. You know, some examples I can think of is, you know, for example, Arizona Avenue and Warner and Chandler. You know, that was the center of the Southeast Valley retail market for years. As the freeways have come in, a lot of the retail's moved to the freeways, and it leaves intersections like Arizona and Warner as kind of a, I hate to say an afterthought, but yeah, an opportunity for repurpose. And so the old East Valley Mall on the northwest corner, a project that we're working on a portion of it, it's actually going to be repurposed into a variety of different things. There's a charter school that's already there that's a part of it, great reuse. The piece that used to be the anchor store, another anchor store there, is going to be nicer multifamily apartments, which is going to be great for the neighborhood. And then the Target building on the north side is going to be, at least in the near term, a mini storage. So that's an example where it's a multitude of new uses.
So folks who once had maybe had a grocery store or a drugstore and that thing has been closed for a while, are they going to see those spaces stay the same, or are they going to be cut up? Are we seeing those things divided up?
We're seeing a lot of that, a lot of cutting up of the old boxes. Besides the grocery stores as well, a lot of retailers are shrinking because of the internet. They're shrinking in size.
Yes.
And so we're seeing a lot of these boxes, 50,000 feet or larger boxes, getting split up. And 43rd and Bell is a good example, where it was an Albertsons at one point there in the northeast corner. And now it's been subdivided into 3 spaces and leased now.
That would seem to make sense. I mean, that's certainly a way to go. So
Yeah.
basically, existing retailers, they're showing growth. We got new retailers moving in. That's all happening as well. What does this say, again, for the overall Phoenix economy? I know things are slow and steady. We've had enough economists on the show to say that. But still, a little bit of a brightness here in the horizon?
I think it is. From where we sit at CBRE, and at least with the retail space that we're working on, I would say it's a little more positive than the market indicates. And the fact that we're now under 10% with rental rates for the better product moving up, it's fairly good.
And any reason to think that that's going to change anytime soon?
Probably not. As more and more tenants come in, and since we haven't built a lot of space over the last since 2008, we'll see demand for new construction. And so the big question will be now moving forward is, are we going to repeat our mistakes of the past and overbuild or not?
Right. Well, I guess we're all waiting to see that. Good stuff. Good to have you here. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Thursday on Arizona Horizon, hear about a dramatic fossil find that sets back the date of human origins by 400,000 years, and we'll have details on a new recording by the Phoenix Corral. That's on the next Arizona Horizon. That's it for now. I'm Ted Simons. Thanks for joining us. You have a great evening.
Arizona Horizon is made possible by contributions from the Friends of 8, members of your Arizona PBS station. Thank you.